Hey, Classroom 4. Today we are going to be continuing our social skills lesson on stress. We are going to be doing some activities out of the stress workbook for teens, and everything that you need for these activities are in your work week packet. We're going to be going over three different sections today: defining and understanding stress, life stressors, and the physical effects of stress. So the first section we are going to review is defining and understanding stress. When people say they are stressed out, you generally know what they mean. But we all define and experience stress differently. Some people explain it as an uncomfortable emotion, some refer to physical sensations, and some focus on how it affects their thinking. Stress is universal in that everyone has some understanding about what it means to be stressed. But stress is also individual in that each person experiences stress differently. Look at how Aiden and Lindsay define stress. Aiden defines stress as a sharp pain in his chest, in his head, and way too much pressure from other people. Lindsay defines stress as feeling overwhelmed, worrying, and being overloaded with things to do. So it seems like Aiden describes his stress more as emotional, whereas Lindsay's is both physical and emotional. So there are three different ways to describe stress: emotional terms, physical terms, and thoughts. So some examples of emotional terms are overwhelmed, depressed, unhappy, nervous, anxious, worried, uncomfortable, angry, and frustrated. Some physical terms are panic, chest pains, headaches, jitteriness, trouble breathing, trouble sleeping, stomach aches, dizziness, being unable to eat, and feeling fidgety. Some thoughts that you may experience whenever you're stressed are overthinking, being in a negative state of mind, being unable to focus on anything, constantly thinking about something, having bad thoughts, and exaggerating things. So, after we went over all of those examples, I want you guys to take a few minutes to think about how stress affects you. And I want you to pause the video and write down some words that I mentioned above that you also have in your packet that best describe how you feel when you are stressed. Which category best applies to the way you describe stress: physical, emotional, or in your thoughts? And this doesn't have to be one category. You can write down multiple categories if that is how you feel. And if there are any other words or ways that you use to define stress that we didn't already discuss, I want you to write those down as well. And then, how is stress playing a part in your life right now? So go ahead and pause the video for a few minutes and fill out those questions. And then whenever you are finished, you can unpause the video and we will move on to the second section. Alrighty guys, so the next section we're going to go over is life stressors. Something that causes you stress is called a stressor. Finding out what your stressors are is an important step towards changing and finding a solution to make it easier to deal with. I have two examples that I'm going to read to you. Marty works 10 hours a week in addition to being in a musical, at school, and taking a few honors classes. She doesn't know how she'll be able to manage it all. By the time she gets home from either work or rehearsal, it is 9 o'clock and she still has 3 hours of homework to do. To make things worse, her friends are mad at her because she isn't spending a lot of time with them. And then Nathan is upset because his best friend and his girlfriend want him to choose between them. He would like to be able to hang out with both of them together, but when he is with one, he doesn't feel free to include the other. On top of this, his parents are going through a divorce. Nathan also has a lot of trouble with many of his courses, and his father puts a lot of pressure on him to do better in school. So reading both of these examples, it's pretty easy to see why Marty and Nathan are both stressed. And I want you guys to think about some of your stressors right now. I know for me personally, not being in school and having my regular routine causes a lot of stress for me. And some stressors that you guys may have, maybe with your friends, in your school life, with your family. So I want you guys to think about those stressors that you may have. Are there any that you can cut out of your life, or are there ways that you can change them in some way? Um, I know, for example, when I was in high school, I had some issues with a group of girls that I was friends with. They would hang out without me, they would ignore me, and it always bothered me and it caused me to feel stressed. So one day I decided that I wasn't going to be their friends anymore and I got a new group of friends. Um, Definitely was not an easy decision for me to make, but in the end, definitely made me feel a lot better and caused less stress for me. We are going to go on to the next section, the physical effects of stress, paying attention to red flags. Your body gives you cues and signals, letting you know when you're stressed. These cues and signals are red flags that can help you to identify them. When you feel threatened, your body automatically triggers what is called the fight or flight response. And in the workbook, it says if you were a caveman hunting for food in prehistoric times and a saber-toothed tiger came in your path, your body would prepare to fight the tiger or flee from it. Your body reacts to almost every stressful situation with that same response. For example, getting a bad grade on a test, a breakup, or being startled by a noise when you're home alone all can cause your body to respond immediately with the fight or flight stress response. Different people feel this response differently in their bodies. So some examples of that are you might find it harder to breathe, you your hands might tingle, and your face might feel really hot and flushed. Your reactions may also change at different points in time. So one stressful situation may give you a stomach ache, and another might make your shoulders tense. So each situation is going to make you feel a little different. No matter what your physical signs are, be aware that your body is letting you know it's stressed and wants to return to a more balanced and relaxed state, which is known as homeostasis. So in this diagram here, um, the reactions listed on the left. So here's the body, and it's saying that the fight or flight response is a high heart rate, and then once you're at a normal or relaxed state, your heart rate goes down. When your pulse is up in the fight, your pulse is up in the fight or flight response, and then when you're feeling normal and relaxed, your pulse will go down. So that's just some examples. Um, so I want you guys to fill out the body diagram in your work packet, and I want you to mark on there where on your body you feel stressed. So when you're stressed, do you feel it in your stomach? Do you feel it in your head? Do you feel it in your chest? Um, and when you feel this is happening, what are some things you do to make it stop? So go ahead and you can fill out that diagram, and then that's everything that you guys have to do for today. Wednesday, April 1st. So I will see you guys tomorrow.